So, in terms of tile, let's talk about, we talked about some of the things that are in large format tile, slab tile, right?
Right.
I'd say focal walls are
Yes.
still really trending. Geometrics, we discussed, are pretty.
I think geometrics are definitely trending, but I also think that organic shapes, like rounded shapes, I think are trending and definitely in furniture. And we have yet to see how that translates into tile, but that's definitely, I think, a direction that's interesting. And I do see it starting to happen.
So I think I'm calling geometric shapes, like so shapes,
Okay.
so round
Sure.
shapes too, like the scallop or
Right.
fishtail or all these various different. Like I love your rounded corners on some of these newer tiles that you've introduced. I think also we discussed that colors, obviously blues are still going really strong because it's like the new gray. It's
Yep.
comfortable, livable, and that you're responding to the colors that are happening in the industry as a whole. It's kind of like Pantone or, the fashion trends introduce the colors and they drip down into all of our worlds. But
Yeah.
outside of blue, are there any colors that are still going? Like, is green staying?
Yes, I think green is staying. Yeah, I think green is staying. I think green is still growing. We're seeing our sales, at least of green tiles, go are increasing, and there's definitely more interested in greens, all kinds of greens. From yellow green to more blue green, teal, sage green. A lot of interest again now in sage and sort of,
Yeah.
if you want to call it sea foam, you're not going to we'll call it something else, but
Celadonish. A
celadonish color,
celadon.
exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
That's definitely a strong color. I also personally think that a sort of yellow-ish color, yellow gold, yellow with green influences is also a color trend that I think is coming along. We'll see what, that's more my personal opinion at this point, but we'll see where it goes.
I said 2 years ago or 3 years ago, yellow was going to come back. But for the younger generation, Gen Z, I felt like wanted yellow. But right now we need optimism. So I think yellow
Yeah,
is going to be in just because people are just looking for some sunshine in their homes and in their lives right now. So
right,
we'll see
right.
yellow. I agree with
Okay,
you.
great.
So what about out? Look, people ask me all the time, is wood plank flooring out? Is that out?
Well, I think, I definitely, the popularity of that material is definitely going down. Yeah. If you're talking about like porcelain wood look tile,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, again, it's one of those products that's ubiquitous and everywhere. I think that it does have a functional aesthetic. I mean, if you want to get a nice durable surface for your kitchen floor or your mudroom and, you have wood tile throughout the rest, wood, real wood in the rest of your house, I think it still serves a purpose. I think also commercially it still serves a purpose, but from a trend point of view, yeah, it's definitely going out.
I think also the new vinyls, the luxury vinyls replaced it because people were putting wood plank flooring in their basements to prevent water, for
Yeah,
water damage. And
yeah,
now you have luxury plank that's waterproof and it's softer on the feet. So it's kind of like replaced the whole application and use of that tile to an extent. A
yes.
whole segment of the market has switched over to a different material. Size 12 by 24. I see that as like done. It's a done size. Do you agree with me?
Um, Not necessarily. Sorry.
Really? Oh, come on. 12 by 20, not 24. How about that?
I think that definitely there are people looking for bigger sizes, but we still sell a lot of 12 by 24. And I think the thing about it that's still attractive to people is that the scale of the tile is a good size for certain rooms. I mean, if you have a larger space, you could go with a larger tile, but 12 by 24 sort of is like a sweet spot for lots, especially for remodeling. For lots of existing or older homes that don't have really huge rooms,
Right.
12 by 24 is a good size. Um, Personally, I think that like a thinner rectangle, like 12 by 36. I think that's actually a size that we're getting a lot of interested. And then going also to a bigger rectangle.
Right.
Even like last year pre-COVID, there was some talk about squares coming back, like square formats for flooring. And I don't know what happened. It seemed like it was picking up somehow, but now it seemed like that idea has sort of
I've
died again.
20, I was seeing 4 by 4s, 8 by 8s, and 24 by 24s, not the 12 by 12. 12 by
Yeah,
12
no,
was
not
not,
12 by 12. No,
that
no,
wasn't getting picked up. The smaller
no.
sizes and then a large format,
Yeah,
square. I still see happening a little bit. But like you said, it's hard to say because we're all in our own bubbles right now.
right.
See where it
Exactly.
ends up, it'll be another 6 months from now. What about glass tile?
Glass tile, in in the high end, at least, the popularity of glass tile has been receding for a number of years.
Yeah,
Um, I think that it's, it became like, again, another very ubiquitous product that you could get everywhere, from Lowe's to, to Town Decor or whatever. And I think that there was a lot of the same kind of product in the market. The glass tile that we sell is mostly custom order, and it's sort of specialty. There's something different about it. Either the color, the shape, the surface treatment, there's something, and I think that there's still interest in glass tile for, for pools and spas.
of course.
But in general, I think we're waiting for a renaissance of glass tile that maybe will be driven by a new kind of technology or, a new look that'll make it more relevant again.
Like a maybe like a watercolor look.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I
that there are
love
people
that.
who are now printing on the back of glass, and there's some interesting, possibilities there,
Yep.
or even something that's even more artisan and handmade look. I think, you know, I think artisan products and things that are made by hand are definitely going to be trending, and that was starting before, I think, before COVID, but I think COVID is going to push it, because I think there's also something about, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've noticed on social media when people have been home, they're making more stuff, and whether it's
Yep.
gardening or they're taking up a new hobby, or the people who were already making pottery are making even more pottery and selling it, that there's definitely a renewed interest in the whole, in craft, and
First.
I think that's going to be a big trend, and I think that craft combined with technology, so that you can work together and make even something that's more extraordinary, interesting, is also a trend for the future.
I agree with that. What about, I mean, we know that borders and insets are out. Those are done,
Yes.
right? What do you think though about the metal inserts? I know you have that you're calling it the midnight color line. I don't think it's the name of, you were saying midnight was a color, like a color trend on your website, but there was a particular tile. It was black with a metal inset in it. Um, I started seeing that emerge about 4 years ago, and I use it occasionally. Where do you see that? That's probably coming from your um, the deco time period.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Art Deco, definitely had a lot of metal in it. We have a collection called Ellington that we introduced a few years ago, which is marble with inlaid
Yeah,
brass and steel, and that's actually doing still quite well. I think that there's a lot of copycats sort of that idea in the market. I think the thing about like everything, when something becomes popular, all these other manufacturers flood the market with similar items, so you sort of have to stay ahead of the game a little bit if you
right.
can. And again, with that, I see the deco influence still in the market, but I see it in a little bit of a warmer way. Like when you think of Art Deco, sometimes you think it's more cool and sophisticated and black and brass and darker colors. But I think there's also, if you look at like Art Deco in Florida or other areas of the country, there was a much warmer and different color palette associated with it, and different kinds of of shapes. And I'm working on a collection right now that definitely has a deco influence, but a much warmer, different kind of deco than I think people think about commonly.
Oh, that's exciting. I can't wait to hear more about that. And what about Trazo? Do you think that's staying or going?
I think Terrazzo is staying. I think
Oh,
Terrazzo, I love Terrazzo. I think Terrazzo is pretty exciting. I think because you can do so many interesting things with it color wise, it's very customizable. We work with a factory in Italy. That's where our Terrazzo is made in a very traditional way. But when you look at especially, we've been getting a lot of specifications from, again, architects and designers because of the customizability of Terrazzo. There's hundreds of different colors of chips, marble chips you can use. You combine that with different colors of cement, so you can create products that are very individual and unique. I think Terrazzo is going to be here for a while.
and it's a really durable product, right?
It's very durable.
And it stays
It's
cool.
also relatively reasonably priced. I mean, Terrazzo was used, in the 1920s and 30s for so many different institutional buildings, like the Natural History Museum in New York, lots of government buildings, and they used it because it was durable. It's basically
Yeah.
marble and cement, so it's pretty hardy.
So for marbles, Carrera was it for the last however many years. What marbles do you see emerging? Natural stones. Is there a hot marble?
I think right now, like, quartzites, and I'm not talking about man-made quartzites, I'm talking about natural
Right,
quartzites,
right.
I think are probably, the most trending, uh, natural stones, especially in slabs, because of all the different colors that are available. Like, like you said, marble's very popular. The high-end white marbles are still sell very well. I think it's still a sign of luxury. The highest quality Calcutta's and those kind of products are
Right.
still selling well. But I think quartzites, you can get greens and blues, and it's almost like quartzites combine the durability of granite with some of the veining and color of marble. So that's obviously, advantage for in terms of durability. So I think quartzite right now is probably the most trending, natural stone.
Okay, that's great. And so if you were to, launch a new product line in the next 6 months, or you're going to be, what would it
Mhm.
be, and what will it be?
Hmm. Well, we've got lots of things right now, on the board, drawing boards, so to speak. I think that I would definitely we have a collection that we're working on that's sort of influenced by Mediterranean modern trends, and I think that would be probably the one that I would launch first.
Okay. And what about your made to order?
Made to order. Well, handmade to order is something that we just launched recently, and that's a great collection. It's all about personalization. So it's we have a factory that Walker Zanger owns in Mexico that makes a lot of our ceramic tile, and handmade to order is made down there, and it combines a choice of like 30 different shapes with 108 different colors.
That's
So there's
incredible.
almost a limitless combination of different colors and patterns that you can create.
Do you need a
Um,
minimum? Like, is there a minimum amount you have to purchase to get your color and your shape?
Yeah, the minimum purchase is 25 square feet,
Oh, that's
which is
small.
which is
That's not,
pretty small,
yeah.
and the delivery time is 10 to 12 weeks. It was supposed to be 8 to 10 weeks, but because of COVID, it's going to take a little longer right now. But still, I think a reasonable time frame to get the exact tile and color that you want. We're really excited about it. I think again, for designers, it's going to be a dream because a lot of time is spent looking for the right combination of color and shape when it comes to tile. And so it's sort of a one-stop shop.
I don't even think that it's designers that are gonna love that line. I think if it's online and a consumer can go online and play and see, my
Well, that's true
color
too.
on their shape and
Right.
tweak it and have some fun with it. And I think it's a home run for the industry. The more
Thank you.
that you
Yeah,
can do online and customize online, I think the more salability it has in the market now.
I agree. I agree. I saw actually yesterday, I read an article and they were saying that, that COVID has sped up sort of the adoption of online, commerce by 5 years. So in the few months of COVID, we've sort of gone 5 years into the future in terms of how willing people are to buy online.
I agree with you. The acceptability is there. So
Yeah.
I thank you so much. This was a really wonderful conversation.
No, I think we covered a lot of ground. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed speaking with you and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Really, really nice conversation. Thanks so much for joining me on Design Pop. Drop me a comment, send me a question, and I would love to answer them. And stay tuned for more design styles in my upcoming Design Pop series.